favoring the Caitlyn a little bit in that series.
And this is really funny because Uzi's played Caitlyn 2 out of the 3 times. Pretty much half of the games IG has played, they've banned Caitlyn. They hate having bully 80 carries. They don't really like to lane swap because they want Zatai to have the 1v1. And that means that Rain and Tabe just can't go up against Caitlyn, and they have to ban it. It's like nearly a must ban for IG at this stage.
Yeah, and I think they've banned it 50% of the time that they've played. So you're exactly right. Is definitely something that they want to remove. It's also going to include a LeBlanc ban there away from Xiaohu. Rookie just wanting to make sure that there's no crazy assassins doing mental things, and of course we all understand about Xiaohu's LeBlanc. However, on RNG's side, pretty standard stuff in the Rise and Vladimir so far.
Yeah, it certainly is. The reason that LeBlanc is such a good ban for Invictus Gaming is that Rookie needs to play these long-term control mages that take a while to get going. And once again, the biggest fear of RNG right now is MLXG and Mata are so proactive that they do snowball a majority of the game. A lot of RNG games are over about the 15-16 minute mark just because of great early pathing. So I respect the decision, you know. You're going to play scaling against me. I'm always going to play scaling because I have to be the major damage contributor for Invictus Gaming. That's what Rookie says. So Xiaohu, you're going with me in the long run.
Well, it was Gragas actually banned away last, and we've got Karma first picked here for Tabe. Tabe actually showing a lot of preference towards the Karma recently. Has been able to sort of dictate flow. But it does mean that both Kindred and Italy, both available. Of course, we saw in the last series, Italy highly prioritized. Not going to be the case this time as MLXG considering the Rek'Sai.
I actually think Italy is like the 3rd or 4th strongest jungler right now. I think Rek'Sai is by far proven to be the most dominant. I think you can play Gragas into Rek'Sai, which kind of helps the teamfight aspect out. I think Kindred's also a really viable option. I'm not a huge fan of Italy anymore, just because, don't get me wrong, if you get ahead, if you start snowballing, still clears well, still does the things that Italy used to do, but just doesn't have the same presence around the map in teamfights and in the early game.
Well, I think what you said about Gragas definitely makes sense, as they are looking at the Rek'Sai, and if that's going to be a problem for them, it's certainly not this game. As Siva has been locked in, and it's actually Azir that's going to be taken here for Xiaohu.
And we're wondering when this was going to happen, because Xiaohu hasn't played it. I think he's got 1 game on it so far in summer.
Yeah.
And I think up until last week, he just stayed off it completely, actually prioritized Victor over it a lot of the time. Lots of pros are saying that now the ultimate cooldown is 3 seconds only for the wall being up and things like that, that Victor actually beats Azir out. I still think that Azir with a jungler can set up much better than Victor can. But we'll see whether that's something that continues to hold true and whether Rookie goes towards the Victor in the mid lane.
And I also like the fact that RNG have picked this up knowing Zatai's playstyle as well. He's not likely to go to that Maokai, use that Vengeful Maelstrom to nullify a lot of the AoE damage that's going to be coming out of both of these champions. And they've got infinite wave clear with both of these as well, as IG are going to lock away the Lucian and the Elise.
And I think this is a really cool decision. I'm going to actually reference the LGD versus Snake game last night.
Yep.
Where MLXG and SOFM, you know, they're similar junglers. They want to be in your face. They want to be incredibly proactive. We saw the range form of Elise, especially with red buff, is really potent early game of kicking junglers out of your jungle. Because you sit there and auto-attack them, you can set up your CC very nicely. And SOFM actually struggled against Amy, who was able to pick it up in game number 2. Game number 1, SOFM just camped top. Let's forget about that. It's not a good strategy anymore. But I thought it was really interesting. And I like to see that MLXG is going to kind of try and match fire with fire in something like Elise and like a Graves, that you can go toe-to-toe in that range form. Because things like Rek'Sai really do struggle with counter-jungling Elise if that is going to be your main game plan.
Yeah, and right now actually looking to go back to the Graves. Has been hovering a bit. Nami's been locked in already for Mata. The Nami Siva lane.
And I really like Nami at the moment. She has a great spot in the meta because, as lots of people be aware of, like, I'm a huge fan of Karma. I think Karma support, Karma mid lane are both great. But Nami right now nullifies that lane. So you can take the Siva for utility. She has a good lane swap on her. And she's also able to top you up after the Karma damage, whereas Karma's a lot of shields. You do max it. By about level 10 on Karma. So I think that Lucian Karma, that's such an aggressive lane. Grab something like a Nami that has CC for late game in the team fights, but also just tops you off during the laning phase and allows you to push that wave out as Siva.
Yeah, sort of like the halfway point between a Soraka and a Karma. Sort of.
Yeah, it's like Soraka Janna, but put together.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Well, we'll see whether Mata can land the bubbles necessary. It's now RNG looking to make their final pick. What's been locked in on the other side, though, has been the Varus and the Echo. So wanting to go for that sort of old-school counter pick there in the mid lane to Xiaohu's Azir. We'll see whether Rookie is going to be able to bring it, but it's looking like a lot of poke so far.
Yeah, and this is really interesting because I was about to say, you know, normally IG are one of the teams that will blind pick Trundle. Zatai has shown great favor to it, and Looper loves a champion, and to all extents and purposes, since the nerfs, Echo is just straight up beaten in lane by Trundle.
Yeah.
So blind picking that one, it's not all that strong at the moment, is interesting. IG, Rookie plays a really nice Varus, actually. I think that was their win over OMG, played Varus in it. You don't win the lane until about level 9. People expect you to like, oh, you know, this is a hard counter. You're going to put him in a dumpster. Like, no, until you actually max out your arrow and until you get that tier stacking, he actually doesn't do that great into the lane matchup. But once you do get those things, he really does wreck what Azir wants to bring to a table.
Yeah, and you can also just clear waves over and over again as well if you do fall behind. So Rookie will be very safe in the mid lane if he can last that few early levels. But what you said about the Trundle and Echo is just really interesting to me because what RNG have now put together looks utterly terrifying.
Yeah, and they've both got 4-1 comps, right? So I think that this is IG. They had already picked themselves a 4-1 because they're going Varus. He can never really split. They knew 4-1 was coming out from RNG, and they just opted into the weaker top lane.
Well, we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as the coaches shake hands and we hop onto the Rift. Thank you very much, Rookie, and we are onto the Rift. As you can see, first dragon is going to be a cloud as we launch our way across. And IG, RNG, are there going to be any lane swaps early on here, Spawn? What's happening?
I think that if there is a lane swap, it'll be RNG doing their funky lane swap where they get the early wave onto Uzi and get back. Both these team comps really are set up for 2v2. As I said, you pick the Nami to nullify the Karma lane. You pick Trundle to win out versus Echo. Zatai, I'm not going to say he's arrogant, but he's a confident man, Atlas, when it comes to the 1v1 situation. So I'm sure that he's willing to throw the gauntlet here.
And you've already said, you know, Trundle does pretty well into this matchup on 6-11 now. So we'll see whether he can prove that one true.
And it's actually a grasp Echo. So, you know, even further behind times right now is Zatai.
Very interesting. Of course, 6-12 is when the further nerf comes in. So still able to stack it up incredibly quickly. But we'll see how Zatai is going to be able to navigate this one. As you can see, win rate pretty high for the odd RNG.
RNG, Royal as a whole organization, have always been thereabouts. RNG, obviously, now this iteration, are much more dominant than you would expect. But
yeah,
IG has always been that team that just sat outside of the Worlds grouping when Royal, the first time around, were making their name and getting to those World Finals.
Yeah, of course, runners up.
Oh, that's a really cute trick, but they actually lose a little bit of time there.
It does mean that IG aren't going to be able to get the big Krug. They get the little one, though, so slight advantage.
Cool. So what they did there is they actually stacked the minion wave. They still spread out their auto attacks, though. So that's a little bit strange. So they're not actually going to miss anything. And a slight experience advantage, as you said, over to Rain.
And Tabe already taking a little bit of poke damage. We'll see how this lane develops, because, of course, Karmalution, pretty strong.
Yep. If you take Caitlyn off the board, who pretty much wins most lane matchups early on because of range, this is one of the stronger lanes in League of Legends. It's just got great pushing power as well as good dueling potential. As I said, though, you have to fight within your windows of shields, and you have to be able to land the poke off Karma. So Martyr support much more forgiving in that regard.
Well, you can see Rookie already having his wave shoved into him. Xiaohu just moving around the map, trying to get vision down.
It's really interesting when they show you jungle pathing like this, because what actually happened is Kid started on his buff. Didn't start something like the Gromp, right? early ward has gone down from Xiaohu to spot out where he is, and that means that top side of the map completely belongs to MLXG, and he's going for a gank. He went for a 3-buff top side, straight away into this gank.
Yeah, and already below half health is Zatai as he heads back into Looper, trying to run away. Does have the passive, but it's not enough, and First Blood easily picked up by MLXG.
And that was like really, really cute, because as I said, that was a 3 clear. They spot out where the jungler is. No, there is not a counter gank there. And Zatai is trying to bounce the wave as soon as possible to make sure that that gank isn't available. But MLXG just beats him to the punch. So really nicely done from RNG's jungler.
He's going on a bit of a drive-by now, looking to try and save his blue buff. Looks like Kid is actually going to get pressured out
here. The whole
here,
team is actually collapsing. You can see that 4 members were ready to come in there. Azir left lane, Nami had left lane, Sivir was cheating across, and that means MLXG not going to lose his buff. Repelling counter jungling has always been a team effort. And it's why I don't think that SOFM's style will last for as long as we think, because people aren't used to it, because it is very easily punishable. And you saw that right then, Kid, who should have had a tempo advantage due to a gank going down from MLXG, should have been able to pick up a camp or 2 and get ahead in CS, actually wasn't able to because he walked across the map, had to walk all the way back, and he got nothing for it.
Yeah, and already really good reactions here from RNG. So what we were talking about before, the fact that against EDG it didn't look the same way. Definitely have cleaned things up just a little bit here in this series. Nice dash away from the bubble there as Rain gets himself to safety.
And let's get realistic. Like,
it's a
IG
different series,
aren't the same caliber of a team that EDG are early game. And if RNG has been really good at one thing since this iteration has been put together, it is beating teams that are worse than them.
Yeah.
And on paper right now, Invictus are worse than them. So Invictus need to be the ones that push the tempo of this matchup. They cannot play RNG's game plan.
Yeah, this is actually something that I wanted to talk to you about as well, because a lot of the ways that RNG won games, especially early on in this season, was just by flat-out winning in the laning phase.
100%.
From being better.
What they do is they push up every single lane. They get them in their advantage. You know, they start chipping away at these CS leads, and then they just use MLXG almost as this backing to be able to come into a lane and just completely turn the tide. So, yeah, they pretty much simultaneously win all 3 lanes.
Yeah. It's been very terrifying to watch, but as we saw EDG do, it's not infallible, because once you test them on the rest of League of Legends, things can be found out, and we'll see whether IG can do so, as Rookie's going to take a little bit of harassment here in the mid lane, but so far, nothing doing really as far as gaining any leads.
Well, the thing about having to win every lane is that as soon as you don't win one lane, it actually opens up a hole in the game plan. You don't actually have to win like every lane against RNG. You just have to give your jungler that in. Win one lane. Clearlove was able to get into the bottom lane. And you saw that the game that EDG lost, because their one winning lane was actually ganked by MLXG really early.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to get back ahead. If you win one lane, you open up double teleport plays, for example, because then all of a sudden you're snowballing off that. We saw that a couple of games, Mouse was able to get early kills in the bottom lane, thanks to Deft and thanks to Mako, and then that made Looper's job incredibly difficult. So you shouldn't focus on winning every lane versus RNG. Winning one should be enough to upset the way that they want to be able to play the game. And that's what IG are hoping they can do with Rookie here.
Well, you can see Kid is sort of hovering around that middle lane. Looking to try and find some room in his jungle. Nice arrow is going to land there as the hail comes in as well. Rookie really landing everything. But just trying to stack that tier. Went back very, very early. Picked that one up. No teleports at all here from the middle lane, of course. Being Barris and Azir.
Yeah, and it was interesting because both of them in Champions Select hovered it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Xiaohu realized he's going to be against Chains of Corruption and decided against that because of Alik's Cocoon as well. Rookie sat there and was like, I have no mobility summoners against a lot of damage.
Oh, wow.
Marte in trouble, actually.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage here. The heal comes out of Uzi, who's looking to try and turn things around. Nice exhaust as Marte gets himself out, but Tabe flashes, picks up the kill on the support, as now Uzi's trying to go 1 versus 2, but it's very, very difficult. The snare's not going to come in, as Kid also in trouble here. Repel's going to come down, and Xiaohu's going to pick himself up a kill after cleansing that one off. IG pick one up on the bottom side, but lose towards the top.
Yeah, certainly do. And all of a sudden, they want to fight over this blue buff now, whilst they want to make a play on bottom lane.
Yeah, Looper actually is able to kill Zatai, though, as Rookie can't find anything out. Uzi is going to be able to pick up one as Tabe's in trouble. Uzi turns it around. One more auto tackle. Do it. Will he be able to actually get there? As Tabe turns the corner. and kills him.
And Tabe versus Uzi. Remember that Tabe was Uzi's support at Season 2, and he's able to pick up their kill in the 1v1 situation. Right now, Uzi's hands off keyboard. He wants nothing to do with the rest of the game.
Yep, no. The one loss. That's the loss that he could not handle this game. The 1v1 goes to Tabe, who's very strong right now, picking up 2 kills. Grabs his Sightstone very early. Frostfang already done.
But I like that you pointed that out, because when you actually have a look at it, Uzi picking up that kill is good for the RNG bottom lane. He's going to have to watch out for the poke out of Tabe, as you said, who's already accelerated in his build, but that meant that Uzi can go back, get his BF sword, and was on relatively even footing versus Rain, so that's not all bad for the RNG bottom lane. And Uzi just needs to stretch it out a little bit. He has some tells when he gets a little bit tilted.
Yep.
Does the next stretch, as does Faker.
Mm-hmm. We saw a few of those at MSI.
Yeah, he certainly did. And you can see that able to catch this massive wave. So he's still up in CS. It's not very often we get to see Marta and Uzi die in a 2v2 lane, so credit to Tabe and Rain, but they still are up.
Most definitely. We'll see whether Tabe's lead is going to be able to net them anything as Xiaohu takes another piercing arrow. You can see IG, though, invading into this jungle. This blue buff possibly under fire as Rookie's taking damage. Thunderlord's proc comes in as Tabe throws down the Mantrid E. Xiaohu in so much trouble, didn't have the cleanse, couldn't get out, and Kid's going to be able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, and that was a really nice setup of a gank there because, as you mentioned, you know, Tabe was the one ahead. He needs to be able to get around the map, makes plays, understands that the cleanse isn't available. They used it to kill Kid, so they return the favor and able to pick that one up.
Pretty...
Oh, Tabe? No, not able to get
there.
there.
Was going for it, but the quick draw going to get MLXG out and grab himself a blue buff there as well. But with Xiaohu dead means that he wasn't able to pick that one up.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an overstay from Tabe, at least in my opinion, because you can see they are slowly pushing the wave in. But it cost about 17 CS in the bottom lane for Rain. So unless they can make something work here, it's going to be very hard to punish what is now quite a substantial CS lead.
Yeah, 82 to 70 now, so looking pretty good on the side of Uzi.
Only 3 caster creeps means that the wave's going to push back, so Uzi doesn't even need to approach technically. We'll make them play against the creep wave still, but is one of the benefits. Uzi's wave control, especially with, well, here we go.
Well, yeah, there's the Emperor's Divide. Rookie delivered to MLXG and to so much damage.
That's why Azir's gank potential is much higher than the Varus, as we have another duel.
Yeah, the culling comes out. Uzi actually tanking up most of it there as Mata still on very high health, but not for long. That Q really doing damage out of Tabe.
Yeah, it certainly is. So they kind of fight 2 1v1s in the bottom lane. Uzi won the 1v1 versus Rain, and Tabe lost the won the 1 versus Marta. So now they swap opponents, the do-si-do, and they kind of trade back again.
Makes a bit of sense. Nice boomerang comes out here, though. But Xiaohu already taking down this turret in the mid lane. That is huge. 10 minutes.
Yeah, it certainly is. A couple of ganks, remember, was able to get across into the blue area and pick up some kills. So that's nice out of Xiaohu. They have been picking on Rookie a little bit, however, and the top side of the map in general of IG, because they did pick some losing lanes, and they're going again.
Yeah, once more. There's the collateral damage. It's a nice, Chains of Corruption that comes in, but the teleport from Looper, very optimistic, but Rookie's on the wrong side of the map, and Marta's even coming up. Tabe trying to answer here as Kid will find the troll in the jungle.
Yeah, they're trying to run a little bit of interference here, and, you know, Rookie has ran away into Fog of War. We'll see whether he's able to get an execute. Meanwhile, 1v1.
Oh, Uzi cancels the auto attack. The heal comes out of both of these AD carries as Marta is going to make his way back in. Rookie's still just exploring
Now he's going to gank bottom lane. He's like, don't worry, boys. I lost him. Let's go.
He's going to walk over a pink ward. It's a really nice bubble, but Marta still gets hit by the piercing arrow. Is going to get snared up as well. It's a decent tidal wave, but it's not enough as Rookie, runs around the map and then picks up a kill in the bottom lane.
Exactly right. Never count Rookie out, and he's able to get down into the bottom lane, have a positive impact. Zatai had moved down also. So really nicely played by the bottom lane one more time of Invictus. And last season, we were saying that, you know, Invictus, they used to sack their bottom lane.
Yeah, they were on the island.
They weren't even Beachy's bottom lane, where Dandy would throw them a bone every now and again. Like, they were just absolutely left to their own devices. Now Tabe, their shot caller, obviously down in that bottom lane, he's like, I need to be able to shot call from a position of power. You need to give Rain and myself something. And this time around, against another great bottom lane in Uzi and Marta, they're still finding advantages.
Yeah, doing fantastically well. Unfortunately for Rain, unable to pick up any of those kills, but is very close to his Ghost Blade nonetheless. Uzi's just continuing to kill creep wave after creep wave. 115 CS, 12.5 minutes is pretty damn good.
And remember, even though Uzi's up in CS, Rain has an earlier spiking build.
Yeah.
He still has absolute raw power at those 2 items, especially if he goes into the Black Cleaver and Youmu's, which it looks like he's going. So Uzi can be up, but it's about when you reach critical mass. And you have to say that the Lucian will do that a little bit earlier than Sivir.
Well, Cocoon is going to snag MLXG, who has been the main benefactor, really, of all of this action around the map. 2-0-2, has his Warrior Enchant, also a Hex Drinker and a Longsword built up as well, as Kid only has his Runic Echoes. His Graves is really big.
And we've seen time and time again, I mean, MLXG, he'll buy Phantom Dancer Infinity as his next 2 items if he stays ahead and be a team-fighting monster. Really doesn't have any qualms about being a legitimate damage threat from the jungle, so... Kid trying to kick people out of his jungle one more time. I do like the fact that, you know, they have that flexibility that other teams, you're like, oh, you know, would have liked the gold to go over onto one of the major carries. MLXG plays that role in many of the victories of RNG right now.
Joe now starting to take a bit of poke here from Rookie. Kill definitely doing some work. He's got 20% CDR already built up from those items, looking for his Ghost Blade by the looks of things.
I do think this is a little scary for IG. I've already said this a lot. You mentioned it as well. RNG do want a laning phase. They want extended 25-minute laning phases where they come out with 2 items, and then they use that as their win condition to, you know, be able to out-team fight you. Right now, IG actually have a relatively good siege comp, but they're just sticking to their lanes time and time again. They haven't really grouped over any objectives at 15 minutes in the game. And, you know, maybe it's a little bit early. They haven't even got major items. But if this goes for another 6 minutes, you would say it's heavily in favor of RNG because they're already opening up that gold lead.
You can see Uzi just happy to shove waves over and over again here into this turret as Rain slowly falling further and further behind.
But this is where you should look to match right. They go back. You see them go back in plain sight. Shove that wave, recall, take your Karma and your Lucian mid lane and start poking at this Azir. I mean, you've already got the Varus into a position of power now. You're going to have the Lucian there with a Ghost Blade. His ultimate is available. You're going to have Tabe there who's been rapidly accelerated.
Oh, there's a Chains of Corruption.
Rookie just goes for a 1v1. Yeah. So it's even more valid now. Like, send them back, get into the mid lane. He doesn't even have Cleanse. If you shove him out one more time, that's a free mid lane turret. You start taking the map back over for yourself. Instead, it looks like it did take a little bit too long, and they're not going to be able to get there in time, and Uzi's just going to keep mowing down these creeps.
Over and over again. Jahu now as well just picked up his Nash's Tooth, so he's feeling a little bit better.
And this is the danger. When you play against a Sivir and you play her game, even if you get an early kill or 2, she's going to make you play against the creep wave. She pushes like no one else in League of Legends. And right now, you can see Tabe, Rain, they're like pretty much stuck in that bottom 2v2, playing Uzi and Marta's game. Like, Uzi and Marta for the last 2 years, if you name people you didn't want to have to fight 2v2, they were very high on your list on separate teams, let alone now playing as a combined force.
You see Dragon was attacked there by Uzi and Marta, as they're now going to head back into this lane. Continue just clearing things out over and over again. Now with the Essence Reaver, Uzi doesn't need to worry too much about the mana, as RNG are going to start up this Cloud Drake Rookie. He's going to make his way in. There's a teleport coming in from Zatai as well. They're trying to stop this one as he's now just in the pit. Phase dive possibly going to be used in order to get him back.
But look at this. They've already shoved bottom wave into the turret. Rain's like, do I go get that? Do I go back to Dragon? That's just a wasted teleport now. Looper didn't even have to join. It was technically a 5v4. RNG still walk away with a benefit unless they can pick Xiaohu off here. This is a nice move.
Yeah, Kid and Zatai now looking for it. The Cocoon is going to land as the Chains of Corruption even flew in from the side. IG will be able to transition into an outer turret as well.
So that's really nice. Finally, they group up in the mid lane. They start using their CC and raw damage to be able to push through the turret. See what they lose on the other side of the map. It's 1-for-1 in objectives right now, but it looks like IG still want to go down mid lane.
Yeah, the inner turret now under fire, already down to half health here as Lupa has answered, does have teleport available as well. He used it, in fact, to get back to lane, and this inner turret is going to die for it.
So Lupa used teleport to try and get into mid lane, but Xiaohu just died too quickly. So he cancelled, did the right thing. He's committed to the split push now, but that's still 2 turrets traded for 1 in IG's favor. So really nice proactive play. You know, group up. Now you've got this big long lane, and when you shove that wave, Kid, Rookie, they can disappear into Fog of War together, and it's much more threatening. So I think that that was the right move for IG. They've clawed their way back into this game.
Yeah, and item spikes now coming in here as well for IG as double Ghost Blade has been picked up. Rain already going aggressive as the bubble's going to go wide. Not going to find the piercing light there as Mata taking a lot of damage from this Lucian. They have to be careful.
Yeah, they certainly do. That was a cull potential as well for Rain nearly. Bubble had already gone out.
Uzi with a very nice spell shield. Allows him to win that trade. You can see now Rookie with a lead there in the mid lane, and this is dangerous. This is exactly where you want to be as this Varus.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as we said, you don't win the 1v1 straight away as Varus. You want to be able to scale up. You want to be able to get some max items on that piercing arrow. You want to be able to stack some of your tier.
Well, Culling is going to come straight into Mata. Holds onto the tidal wave for now, actually, as Uzi takes so much burst. There's the tidal wave. Double bubble comes in as well.
Yeah, maximum CC, but just to save Uzi's life, and all of a sudden this Lucian is shoving him out of the wave. And that's because finally they're playing up, they're playing aggressive, fighting the champions and not the creep wave. And IG going to look to push in, see if they can grab themselves another objective, but MLXG on his way down wants to make sure that can't happen.
Probably just wants to pick up the farm.
No, Uzi's still there.
Ah, okay. So, Rain and Tabe waiting in the brush. I saw Uzi at no health and was like, nah, he'll go back. Didn't look back in there as MLXG. Protecting his pink ward for now. Uzi's going to head back home, as is Mata.
This is dangerous. They know that their bottom lane is low, and MLXG is still going for the invade. Burns the ultimate, doesn't get it.
Yeah, now Looper fighting Zatai and Rookie here under the inner turret.
And you see that Looper, even though he's quite strong, he will get his health back quite quickly. Doesn't really have the armor to go up against Rookie's piercing arrow for this stage of the game.
Yep, that one little cloth shirt probably not going to quite be enough. The Sun Turret's going to help clear out these waves for Xiaohu.
And Kid goes Moby Boots. So Boots of Speed were nerfed by 5 flat movement speed on this patch. We're wondering if that meant that Mobies would come back in. Of course, not as effective because in combat it's like having brown bags, but you do get around the map much quicker than the Boots of Speed at the moment, Swiftness at the moment. So that's an interesting call.
I actually quite like it when it's on Elise. Just because, you know, you got ways to get in there, ways to get amongst it.
Yeah, but that kind of makes it worse, doesn't it? If you've already got ways to get amongst it.
If you're in a team fight, you don't need to have the in-combat movement speed as much.
Definitely, but you kind of need the, I don't know, I think you need the CC reduction, or against this team comp, I would argue that 3 auto attackers with Looper included, Ninja Tabby would probably give you a lot of bang for your buck if you're in Elise.
That is certainly a good point. We'll see how it pays off as this game goes on.
And you know, if he runs person, like if a team fight ends and it's like Kid sprinting across the map, runs down Uzi or something to get the assassination and the ace, maybe it will turn out to be fruitful. Or he gets a critical ward in an area.
Yep, the dream.
Otherwise, I'm going to say combat effective stats against RNG should be very highly valued.
It's a good point. At the moment, look at him sprinting. Although he has to deal with this ward first. Turns into spider form, he's going to be able to do so. Xiao spent a lot of time towards the bottom side of this map.
Yeah, they actually all have. You know, they want to continue to pick on Kid. It's a 35 CS advantage and 202 on the grave, so they do understand that he is in a position of power right now. Going to face check.
Yeah, there's the end of the line. Takes so much damage from MLXG. Has to use the repel, but he's got nowhere to go to. There's the teleport.
And it's cancelled.
Yeah.
So 2 times in a row, Ty's teleport has just meant absolutely nothing for this team. Teleport now coming in for Looper.
Yeah, Rain actually trying to take down Mata before it can even happen, but it's a nice tidal wave. Tabe in trouble. MLXG from the backside, and the Emperor's Divide is gigantic. Xiaohu, this is why he's been down this side of the rift.
And this is what I'm talking about. That was not a pre-planned play. That was a 3-second reaction. They just used their teleport. They've already lost their jungler. They cannot respond. So let's get the teleport in there as soon as possible and pick up 2 free kills in a turret, maybe even a second. RNG, when you give them an obvious play, they will make it as a 5-man unit and smash you with it.
Well, they certainly did there as the inner turret now under fire as well. Zatai trying to get a trade back here on the top side of the map. Outer turret taking damage from the Echo, but I have a feeling the Trundle will make it there in time. Actually decides to take some Krugs beforehand.
And you know, it was something that the North American team, CLG, pointed out. Playing against RNG, really hard. They're just a decisive team. When they commit to a call, they just go all in on it. And it has burnt them in the past. Don't get me wrong. I've seen them do Barons and die all around it and give a Baron over. However, that time, when it does come up trumps and they grab the 3 easy kills and they're able to pick up the objective, push a tier 2, certainly looks like a beautiful way to play League of Legends.
Well, there's the flash forward from Mata, actually looking for the bubbler. Xiaohu from the backside does have to use the cleanse one more time as Kid still taking damage. Tabe now in here as Xiaohu has to flash. Will possibly be able to make his way out as the flash comes in, but the Q Not quite wide enough. Rookie taking so much damage from MLXG as he's just
MLXG
hurting
just
them.
flanked 4 people as a Graves and pretty much to force them out of the jungle.
Oh,
he's going to kill Kid.
Yeah, there's end of the
Nice.
line.
Rain now has to take the long way. And they've just opened up the shortest part of the map. And all right, you do you, MLXG. I'm not going to justify why you walked that way.
He's 5-0-3.
He's between 2 turrets again.
This is ridiculous. Just fighting Zatai as the inner turret is going to fall down on the top side of the map. RNG able to find the objectives. And Tabe as well may have once again bitten off more than he can chew. Tidal Wave comes in, but it is going to be the shutdown onto MLXG. Nice play from Rain now with his 2 items. Very strong.
Lupin might have to burn ultimate here as well. They are going to continue to chase.
Yeah, blue buff taking some fire as Rookie able to pick it up with a piercing arrow. Now going to get shielded up and sped towards the mid lane. Xiaohu, oh god, able to pick this one up. Emperor's Divide comes in. Rookie's just going to get annihilated as Rain looking to try and get some damage down, but you can see Xiaohu just not scared. And Lupa wishing he had a dash to get over that wall, but doesn't.
And Xiaohu and MLXG are going, wow.
This is chaos.
On the weirdest solo missions, Atlas.
Yeah.
Like, they are bizarre. They're just walking in between turrets, you know, cutting people off that are cheating through Fog of War. Zatai still wants Xiaohu. I don't think you're going to catch him, Zatai. You don't have the Moby boots.
Well, Xiaohu now is going to make it to safety. Actually going to walk all the way back to base. As you can see, Lupa already with his Iceborne Gauntlet built up.
And you can see IG are kind of playing within the chaos. And we always say this about RNG. Don't play their style of League of Legends. I'm going to, like, SKT are the best team in the world. Yep. RNG, chaotic style, like scrappy League of Legends, have proven on in the international stage that they can make it work at MSI. You're supposed to beat them methodically, as SKT did, you know, set up around objectives, force them off farm. Instead, you can see that this game, 24 minutes in, they see you take a dragon, they're just going to take a Baron.
Yep, and they certainly are, as it's already down to below half health, and RNG don't look like they're stopping. IG are trying to make it into this bit in time, but it's not going to happen. Is going to be MLXG picking that one up and now turning it into a team fight. It's Mata off to the side. Kid going to get exhausted, has to repel. Able to get onto a ward as Rookie takes down Uzi. That is a big deal in this fight. But the damage has been done.
Yeah, exactly right. Baron's already been opened up. All of a sudden, MLXG wants to fight Zatai again. And you can see a huge creep wave on the bottom. And once again, not a pre-set up plan. They hadn't swept Baron or anything. They were doing it in clear sight. They just see the dragon has gone down. Okay, 2 people must be bottom. Let's do Baron across map. They get the cross-map play, and they're able to come up trumps one more time.
And they understand that they're creating pressure everywhere else as well, as MLXG, once again, he's got a luxury tent on this bottom side of the map.
Well, all he's doing right there is, okay, big creep wave. They could walk through lane. They could also walk through their forest. I'm going to sit in a random brush in the forest. If someone does cheat, I'm going to see if I can pick up a solo kill. It's worked so many times on Kid this game.
Yeah.
That time around didn't work, but you know, you can understand exactly the reasoning behind why he is playing this style.
Well, now building towards his Lord Dominic's regard as well. Wants to make sure that none of that damage is going to be nullified from any armor pickups. He's very close to it. Only 400 gold as he heads back into his jungle.
And this is cute. I mean, as a jungler, it's your responsibility normally to pick up the Mortal Reminder. Somehow I don't think that MLXG got that memo.
No.
Because you are right, he's going towards an LDR, and there is some self-healing on the lineup of Invictus, so...
Well, we'll just see whether he can make it work. Of course, it would have been useful.
I have confidence. I have confidence.
There's a 5-1 and 3 Graves. I'd feel pretty good about it as well. 6,000 gold is currently the lead for RNG.
And you know, the scary prospect, as I said, this composition build up from IG should have its windows. You should, on a couple of items, be able to get ahead with your Varus, with your Lucian. Now Azir and Sivir are getting towards the 3-item spike. I think the shift's nearly sailed on this one. Atlas, 6,000 gold lead, Baron buff, and the carries are where exactly they want to be.
Yeah, very close to Infinity Edge for Uzi there as the Mantra Shield comes in. Culling comes out as well, but doesn't even clear out the whole minion wave. Zatai throwing Timewinders into the mix, but RNG still keeping the pressure up.
Yeah, and look, they still have fantastic wave clear. One of the benefits of taking a AD into the mid lane is that you clear waves much more efficiently than an AP carry, especially when they're Baroned up creeps. You saw that Rookie made relatively short work of them. But they are still 2 outer turrets remaining, and you can see that they're the ones that RNG now should turn their sights towards.
Yeah, Zatai now as well trying to deal with Lupa, who's just being a menace, keeping people busy on the side of IG. And Uzi's going to head down towards the bottom side. Blue buff to be taken from Xiaohu, so Uzi does need to be a little bit careful.
And that's interesting, right? They just completely peel off. They understand that, you know, we're only going to get stronger. Why force? Baron buff nearly going to run out. So we'll just go pick up the resources around the map, continue to exert pressure, and let Looper do his thing. And by Looper do his thing, I mean solo carry. Xiaohu.
Yeah, there's another Cocoon landing as Xiaohu holds onto his cleanse this time. But he's quite low. Looper continues to eat turrets. As the Sun turret is going to fall into the hands of Rookie. And RNG, they had done some previous work to this turret. It's quite low.
Yeah, it certainly is. And finally, they get their fingers dug into a 4-1. So they've got Looper level up over Zatai, you know, starting to put in work down there.
Wow! That was an instantly cleared wave. Now RNG able to take that one down. Chains of Corruption come in onto Uzi, who does get McHale's. Marta able to get him out of it, but he takes a lot of damage regardless.
Yeah, took one arrow there and, you know, nearly cost him his life. But they get the objective that they were looking for. They're going to be able to cross-map a blue buff for themselves, and they'll go back, and they will officially be on their 3-item spike. So you have to say, so far, so good for RNG, and what is a bounce-back game in a way after their loss against EDG. I kind of described it as, you know, IG is just unfortunately going to become the punching bag.
Yeah. There's some frustrations to get out, though, Spawn. I think you're right.
Certainly is. And I think that this game has shown that because we saw a very long laning phase, and from then some decisive fighting out of especially MLXG. I mean, when you have to go head-to-head with Clearlove, probably the best in the business in China over the last 5 years, doesn't really make you feel good if you're MLXG. And now he's got his hands on Kid. He's like, that's a little bit of an easier opponent. I'll take that, thank you.
Well, so far, making it look pretty good as well, as Uzi did, in fact, pick up his Infinity Edge. And it is an LDR already done for MLXG as well as a Vampiric Scepter. This Graves is so big. We don't really need to talk about it anymore because he's just silly strong.
And, you know, I should have probably mentioned it, but when I said carries are on 3 items, MLXG probably deserves to be in that bucket because he's picked up his jungle item as well as LDR and the Yomus. So he's well and truly ready to go. You can see that also for the Azir, he's in a similar situation.
Yeah, Zonya's done, so can make some big plays. Baron power play, not huge.
I think it's a pressure that they got with it more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, turning a 3,000 gold lead that, you know, the game could go either way into what is shutting down the entire map in a 6,000 gold lead is quite nice. And RNG play fast and loose, so, you know, you can expect that their gold lead is going to fluctuate quite often.
You are definitely correct there. It's Tabe trying to scout things out. They do have some safe vision for IG, but they can't get towards that red buff.
Both teams sitting in death rushes right now.
God. Yeah, MLXG took that one pretty quickly. Or at least helped IG take it pretty quickly. Cloud Drake is going to get started and taken away here from RNG. One thing that we do have to talk about is the fact that the one dragon that IG got was a Mountain Drake. 2 clouds for RNG now, so definitely looking good for IG as far as dragons are concerned. However, everything else not working out so well.
5-man collapse onto Looper here.
Big flash comes in from Tabe as Looper's able to close distance. Kid now here as well as Looper. There's 5 people in your lane. This is not how you want to feel as Zatai is able to lock down the kill.
But what do they lose across the map? I mean, even though we took away Azir's ability to cast W on turrets, he still has a Nash's Tooth and AP. They're going to lose 2 turrets for just taking down Looper. As far as worth or not worth, I'm going to put that heavily in not worth. Nearly as bad, not as bad as losing a Nexus, actually.
Yeah.
But they committed 5 people versus 3, so I would like the official count on like the level of decision-making that was.
I believe you're referring to the Newbie versus Vici game that we saw prior.
So they sent 3 people and lost a Nexus.
Yeah.
IG just sent 5 people and lost double turrets. I'm going to say they're comparable.
Yeah. Comparable. Not quite game losing just yet, as we have a look at Tabe on your screen right now. MLXG there
well, it's not game losing, right? But now all of a sudden, Looper, who still has his teleport, just sits in bottom lane with an open inhibitor, and Baron's just respawn. So right now, in the next 5 seconds, sure, maybe not losable. In the long run, might be a win condition that RNG can now play towards.
It's definitely true. And Loopy, you can see heading down there right away, as if on cue. There's now wards and everything getting cleared out by MLXG around this river area. RNG setting up to try and take down this Baron one more time.
You know, as we said, this is it's your own fault, IG, because they're the people that kind of put the map in this position just moments ago. And We already mentioned, Echo didn't get any stronger on this patch. In fact, took a hit. Trundle, pretty much nothing doing to him. This is one thing that Crepo and Deficio would be very mad at RNG about. They should have learnt this by now. Ward inside the pit, ward outside the pit. If that is how you're baiting people to fight you, you can't really afford for a vision ward like a stealth ward like that to just sit there.
Yeah, just chill out and get all the vision possible.
Really sloppy play.
Oh, Tabe able to get some vision down. MLXG doesn't want to get piercing arrow to the face.
Once again, it's still there, RNG. You haven't warded the objective correctly. You haven't swept correctly. And it just means that the game is going to be delayed. They can see you come in and out of the pit.
Well, Looper now has this wave shoved up. Zatai will answer it. And as an Echo, does have a fair bit of wave clear with that Time Winder, so not going to be too upset.
So, credit to IG, I guess, in a way. They've continued to stall out this game.
But for how much longer here is Zatai trying to slow Looper down, but it's not really working. IG getting flanked from all sides. Is Xiaohu in trouble? Rain actually dashes forward, but the heal comes out. And it is going to keep the Azir alive. Tidal Wave flies through. It's a nice knock up onto Kid as he flashes out of the bubble. And the inhibitor has fallen down on the bottom side of the map. It's exactly the one that they wanted.
But they sent Rookie back to try and deal with Looper, and all of a sudden, they're going to open up what is a Baron call out of RNG.
Yeah, this Baron already down to half health as Xiaohu has got himself out of the pit. He has to be very careful on this low health bar.
Yeah, no initiation because they've already burnt the Mata, Uzi, and Xiaohu ultimate, so they do have to back away. They also take down Looper, but Looper got his inhibitor. Pretty even trade by both teams, making very bold calls.
Most definitely. See Looper dead for a few seconds. Might give IG some time to at least get some vision back around this map. So they take down the pink ward that's in the pit. You can see MLXG just waiting off to the side. He's thinking 3 people. Yeah, I could probably do this.
They are going to actually look to start it up potentially. They're pinging assistance. Here we go.
Yeah, teleport is available from Looper though as soon as he respawns. It's down
Still
to about
20 seconds away, however.
Yeah, 3/4 health now.
2
Piercing
auto
arrows
attackers
flying in as well. Yeah, you're exactly right. This could be very dangerous for
10
RNG.
seconds on the troll still.
Yeah, 2 wards in the pit as MLXG's looking to try and get the
Got
smite.
it.
He gets it! He does fall down in the end as Uzi trying to fight Zatai, who just chrono breaks his way back in, but you can see the Emperor's Divide is massive. 3 kills already for Xiaohu. Picks up a 4th. That's a quadra for the Golden Chicken. Teleport's coming in. And Looper says, what did I miss? And Xiaohu says, I killed everyone.
Xiaohu says, give me the pentakill. Zatai says, I want to kill you instead. But, in the end, it doesn't even matter. He's dead. They're just going to push down the mid lane and look to win the game.
Yeah, they're going to see whether they can. Of course, Mata and Xiaohu having a lot of ability to kill turrets. Yeah, Looper wants to get something out of this fight.
He's like, give him the pentakill.
You jerk. Use the last of his
teleport
manners.
back.
Yeah, that could be dangerous, though. He's on low health, and Uzi's just going to kill him. So there it is. The ace comes in. Could have almost been the penta if Xiaohu had been there in time, but of course he was on 1 health. And it is very, very difficult. The Nexus is now going to be exposed, and RNG looking to try and win the game.
And Uzi wants to kill his support. Lets him live out of the goodness of his heart, Atlas.
I don't think so. If he hadn't have made it to that fountain, I have a feeling he would have been dead. But congratulations to RNG. A dominant victory in the end, but IG showing that throughout the mid-game they were able to at least make sure that RNG had to make smart decisions.
I think this was a really cool game. If you want to understand the strengths and weaknesses of RNG, this is probably one of the best games to watch. Because honestly, those split-second decisions that we like to talk about, what can we take? We just saw this happen 2 seconds ago. We need to get an advantage. What do we get? Time and time again, they just made the right call. That's what I really love about this team. Their split-second decision-making is really good. Their macro shot calling, like we're going to set up a bottom wave and, do something else, not great at times. But when they actually have 2 choices to go towards, they throw themselves behind one. And, whether it's brute force and mechanical play or whether it's just that they have a profit on their team, they come up ahead.
They most certainly do, as Uzi was having a look at his outplay, but this is the main portion. That is 1 auto attack away. He almost cancelled it. Oh, ridiculous. Tabe comes out ahead at the end.
Yeah, he certainly did. But, this is what we're talking about. That teleport goes down. All of a sudden, it's cancelled. They go for the play on the bottom side of the map. It's got them a huge advantage. It got them 2 kills for pretty much free. And, this is the last team fight. Over the wall, the Sivir, as well as the Azir, just put in work.
Yeah, and of course, Xiaohu picking himself up a quadra kill at the back of that one. And you mentioned the fact that he hasn't been playing the Azir as much. Certainly shows that even on 6.11, with a couple of touches, he's still looking pretty damn strong.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think the interesting thing about that, right, is that it was a choice. RNG went to MSI and they were like, Xiaohu, he can still play Azir. He's very, very good at it. But, you know, he's got a whole host of champion pools. And now that they've lost a game, they're going back to comfort.
Yeah, they most certainly are. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to throw it to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether IG can fight back against the powered up RNG.